Hi, my name is Mark from jazzguitarlessons.net, and in this short video we'll be talking about how to learn new songs and more specifically how to approach jazz standards and create a decent repertoire for jamming or gigging. Warning! I say the word repertoire a lot in this video and I have a huge French accent. Viewer discretion is advised. Usually the problem when learning new jazz songs is trying to do too much too soon, right? So in this video I'll share a technique called the 4-chorus exercise that is crucial for memorization and retention of tunes in the jazz idiom. So you'll wind up with a solid list of tunes that you know by rote, on which you can play the melody, play comping, improvise, and simply jam. So let's get going. First and foremost, my personal backstory is, as you can read in the Dummies Guide to Jazz Standards, the blog post, is the following technique, the 4 steps. It stems from my very first lesson with a pro jazz guitarist. So as a youngster, I expected to learn a whole bunch of stuff, scales, arpeggios, licks, etc. during the first lesson. But unfortunately, I only wound up getting practice more tunes as an assignment. So since then, and in my own private teaching on Skype, I've devised an easy-to-follow assessment tool helping jazzers of all level to acquire more tunes in their repertoire. So before we get to it, here's the main advice though that I give everybody literally, unless you're an established jazz player. That's dedicate 50% of your practice time, yes, that's half of it, 50%, to learning new songs, standards or tunes or whatever you're doing. Quit fooling around with scales, arpeggios, exercises, licks, and whatever you're doing in practice on standards or jazz songs, whatever you're practicing, and do that a lot. If you follow this advice and if you do it well, you should be fine. Of course, that's it. So you can stop watching the video right now. However, here's more precision on my favorite exercise, the 4th step to build your repertoire for jazz guitarists. So here's the infamous 4-chorus exercise in one sentence. The exercise is pick a tune, pick a tempo, hide the sheet music, and play 4 choruses without stopping in that order: melody, comping, improvisation, and melody again at the end. So that's one chorus for each element, and that's it really. And when I say without stopping, I really do mean without stopping. I wouldn't stop unless there was an earthquake or if the guitar caught on fire. And even then, I'm not sure if I would stop at all, right? So that's the exercise. I hope it's becoming clear to you that if you can execute the 4-chorus exercise perfectly on a tune, any tune, it means you really know the tune, so it's a great assessment tool. Indeed, most of the time, you'll run into parts of tunes that your memory and ears will become fuzzy. You'll miss some parts, and I like to call those my blind spots. And it's totally cool because the blind spots allow us to know what we have to practice on later, right? So say if I look at my own tune list and I picked it up, I say, all right, I decided to review Summertime. And when I'm taking a solo with the 4-chorus exercise, I'm shady about what's happening in bar 12. I'm soloing, but I'm kind of fudging, right? Then next time I know exactly what I have to do to practice to update the song and refresh my memory of the chords, scales, and arpeggios. The 4-chorus exercise is fun like that because it's specific. We get straight to the point and we get valuable insights into our own playing. We avoid wasting time practicing the parts of the songs that we already know really well, and we can spend more time on the weak parts and bring them up to par. And plus, as a last added bonus, the 4-chorus exercise is efficient time-wise. We can rehearse how many songs in one sitting. Say you have half an hour. You can practice 4 or 5 songs and really know what's what in terms of how comfortable you are with each piece. So let's do a course by course analysis. So let's do like a rundown of how this would typically go over a standard. So 1, you play the melody. So play the melody in the simplest possible fashion. Keep good time, make it swing, and take note of the spots that you forgot the melody, right? So once again, when you're fudging and that you don't really know what you're doing. So that's step 1. Step 2 is comping. So play a full course of comping, whether it be simple shell voicings and basic rhythms or full-fledged comping with extensions and voice leading, it doesn't matter at all. What matters is that 1, you play accurate changes, so the right chords, and 2, that you play what you know how to play. Now it's not the time to reinvent the wheel every time. It's really just to play accurately and tastefully. And don't stop. Once again, don't stop playing. Even if you're missing chords or you don't remember them, just remain silent. Let the measures go by and resume whenever you're ready. The third step is improv. So play a very sober version of soloing. Think of making it obvious and pedantic, as to make it clear that you're soloing over a particular tune, that you're really playing on Summertime and not Stella by Starlight. And don't reinvent the wheel again. Play at your level, once again. No need to plug in fancy licks or whatever else that you think should be there. If what you know is pentatonics, then just play on pentatonics. If you know scales or just arpeggios, play with them. Make use of the materials you know and keep the form together. Don't skip bars and don't let yourself be thrown away by all the beautiful stuff you'll be playing. Keep in mind you want to demonstrate that you know the songs and changes. And fourth, the last step is just to play the melody again, which should be easy, but you could attempt to add more ornaments to the statement of the theme since it's coming last, or you could even play a chord melody if you wanted. You could play a chord melody as your first melody or as your last one or both, depending on your comfort level. So here's a few more BS-free tips as far as learning songs, right? You won't be able to memorize 50 tunes a month or even a week or whatever, because it's not the way it works. You have to use your blind spots to create exercises, make it fun, keep it funky. Start your list of tunes and be realistic. Say a tune per week. It's kind of a good thing to aim for. So with your list, carry it everywhere. Write down the songs that you know by memory and keep adding songs and revisit old tunes that you see that you don't remember them so well, and practice them with a 4-chorus exercise. Makes sense, right? Also, a great tip is to record yourself. So make a recording and see. You'll be surprised. Your perception will be totally different as what you thought it sounded like and what it actually sounds like. So work on this until the two are the same, that when you play, you know what it sounds like on the recording. Of course, you can join the Tune of the Month Club on jazzguitarlessons.net to add to your repertoire. And last tip is to aim for a balance when you're learning tunes. So don't learn 10 ballads or 10 fast songs. Learn one ballad, one standard, 2 or 3 blueses, and 5 or 6 standards, and here you go. You got 10 tunes memorized already, right? Just before I let you go, here are the usual suspects. So the ones that can really ruin your repertoire building efforts. So when I encounter beginning or intermediate jazz players struggling to learn more songs, the culprit is usually one of the following. First one, looking at a chart throughout the 4-chorus exercise. So you have to ditch the sheet music ASAP, and you'll thank me for it later. Ask my current students. They all say the same thing. Oh my God, I can't memorize songs. And then later on, like, oh, thank you so much for insisting, right? Here's another culprit. Knowing the chords, but not knowing the melody. So guitarists are really good at that. They know autumn leaves, they can play the melody. They can play the chords really well, but they can't play the melody. Or vice versa. If you don't know the chords really well and you don't know how the melody relates to the chords that are being played. Another culprit is constantly stopping to correct your mistakes during the 4-chorus exercise. Don't stop. Another culprit is to constantly stop to practice the harder parts of a song. So the harder parts of a song, you stumble upon them, you stop everything, you start practicing. This is not the 4-chorus exercise. Another problem is not attempting to improvise and saying, I'll keep this for later, I'm not good enough. You have to start on it right away, even if it's intimidating. And lastly, the culprit would be the last culprit is to use backing tracks while practicing the 4-chorus exercise. This is a big no-no. So that's it. Go in peace, learn some pieces, pun intended. And now shed some tunes, show up at your local jam sessions with the firm intention of playing the songs that you know in front of the audience and with your fellow bandmates. And don't forget to subscribe to get all the latest lessons and updates, of course, on the jazzguitarlessons.net. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. I'll talk to you soon.